Welcome to another Ariaswave XLM price action update. Okay, so since the last update, you can see quite clearly that my call was correct and we've started to see a near impulsive move to the downside with slightly less power and angle steepness than the wave 3, right? So you you have to understand that, if I was going to be wrong, it would have happened already and you would have seen something completely different happen. So the purpose of this update is to highlight the break of wave E now means that we have to see another low that has to make the final low beneath the previous waves, any of them, whether it's corrective or not. It has to make the final low. Okay, so this is where Ariaswave really begins to shine in prediction. Okay, now it's probabilities. We're dealing with probabilities here. Okay, so if you remember in my last update, I clearly specified that the angle of descent will have to be a bit weaker than the wave 3 component in order for this to, start to give us the types of clues that signify that we are losing steam to the downside. Okay, so it's happening now. It's apparent. There's no sugarcoating. There's no changing the view. This is a 5 wave move, right? It has all the characteristics of a 5 wave move. There's nothing else it can be. And in saying that, it's a wave E, right, which is the final move before you get a change in direction, right? Where you get the end of a correction. So for that specific purpose, Ariaswave is where you can know the methodology teaches you. You can know when the correction is going to end. There's no guessing. There's no speculating with regards to your identification of the waves. If you identify the waves correctly, then you have more of a probability of being correct, right? I don't think there's any other wave theory or methodology out there that can do this type of prediction, right? Now, if you've seen my previous idea, one of my members has clearly stated that it looks like textbook Ariaswave, and it is, right? As I mentioned in the previous video, wave 4 has not gone into the price territory of wave 1 and 2. When wave 1 is the shortest, wave 5 tends to be similar in length to wave 3. It doesn't mean that it will be exactly the same length, right? It's just a guide, okay? We're dealing with probabilities. That's the one thing that you need to always remember, probabilities. Okay, so there's a lot of FUD still going on in the world, in the media, everywhere saying, look, it's not looking good. Um, there's so many different theories out there as to what's happening because of inflation, because of geopolitics, and interest rates, and all this sort of thing, right? But the thing is that the one thing that I've always made clear from the beginning is that I'm using the waves to determine where I invest. And I'm not a financial advisor, but I use the waves and I also try to learn as much about the macro side as possible. I've mentioned that before, and I've started doing a lot of macro investigation. Also, listening to a lot of pretty good sources of information as to what's going on the macro side. Um, like I've mentioned before, this is what's going on in the world today is very similar to what happened in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, right? I believe that we're going to see a move to the upside in the markets in general, right? The Dow Jones, all the stock market, and everything. With even if interest rates do go up, right, it will still happen. Right? Prices will go up. Now, it's happened before and it can happen again. Interest rates can go up when the stock market goes up, right? There's no telling when there will be a recession unless you know the waves, right? And my latest count has indicated quite clearly that there is to be no recession at this point in time. Like if you think about it, we've already seen a massive decline, right? Percentage wise, especially in crypto, we've already seen a massive move to the downside, okay? And it's taken quite a while. It's not like it just started yesterday, right? This has been going on since May last year. That's over 1 year of correction, right? So this is not something that you should overlook, and it's not something that you should just think, oh, this is going down forever. No, that's just more of an indication that it's probably going to go up soon because the bearish sentiment is at all-time lows. Okay, so we're looking at that now, and that seems to be what is going on at the present moment. So this is not a market update. I will produce another video that addresses the broader markets, but in terms of XLM, so far so good. It looks to be on course. I'll link that previous idea down below so you can see how my view has not changed. I still believe this is an E wave. We still need to break, not only make the new low beneath the end of the wave 3 and the B wave, because the B wave happens to be lower than the end of wave 3. That's a slightly expanded correction. I wouldn't even call it expanded, to be honest. But we need to see that low, and then we need to bounce back up above 15 cents, and that will confirm something, right? Especially if we see it move up in an impulsive manner. That will explain the beginning of what could be the very next move to the upside that will potentially be massive, right? Pretty big, very big. And I've also held back on my market updates is because of the structure of the waves in the Dow Jones has produced some patterns that make me think that there's a potential for an expanding wave 2 of wave 3 for the markets. So that's going to be interesting to report on because expanding corrections in wave 3s are common. Why do you think wave 3s are so big, long, and sharp in the greater scheme of things? Is because uh, most of the corrections of the previous waves have expanded, and it's got so much energy and power that it's just going to push it higher and higher and higher, and that's where you get wave 3s. Okay, this is definitely an Ariaswave way of looking at things. So I'll be reporting on that shortly. So right now we're still looking to make that new low. We're still on track, producing all the right moves to suggest that this is going to happen the way that Ariaswave thinks that it's going to happen. If anything changes, I will be the first to let you know. But at the moment, we're on track for a nearing of the larger wave 2 correction, a correction which started in May last year. Hopefully you found this video interesting and informative. Thank you for watching.